Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, everyone. This is Brother Mushtaq coming at you live from the Happy Strong Family studio once again. And as we do every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be watching this live stream. And today we have a return guest, Brother Jahanzeb. And this time we are going to talk about Islam through travel. So, like you were telling me, it's go epic adventures, just like the saying, go big or go home. So tell us about that. Okay, so this is a very different hot take on the subject of Islam. The entire purpose as to why we do a Happy Strong Family, podcast, weekly live stream is we want to understand Islam through the lens of a happy, strong family. So now tell us, how can travel make you a better Muslim? How can it help inform your Islam? What does it mean to have that sense of adventure, man? Like, that's really what I want to, dig into. Let's deconstruct adventure and Islam.
All right. So that's a big one. I don't know where to start, but starting with the connection aspect of it.
Okay.
We are in what we call a very, very connected world.
Yeah.
But I prefer to call it the anti-social media, because I think it makes us less social. We were a lot more social when we were kids growing up
Yeah.
than the kids of today with a device in their hand.
All we had was the TV.
Yeah.
Right? And that
right.
was pretty much our...
At a specific time too.
Yeah.
Not all the time. If you want to talk to your friends, you have to get out there.
Bro, when I came home, from school, it'd be like an hour of TV, right before dinner, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe you would be able to get in like an hour in the evening, right? To watch those shows,
Exactly.
Those evening prime time TV shows.
Yeah. So it reminds me of a story from like grade 8 or grade 9. I was in Saudi, and one of my friends, Saeed, had gone to the States, and then he'd come back after some time. After a year or something, we met up. And I was talking to him, and he said, so what are you into now? He said, I'm really into hockey now.
Okay.
I said, okay, well, that's cool. What position do you play?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't play, I watch. So to me, it's a lot of people, they're into a lot of things.
Yeah.
But either watching or playing on the console rather than doing it themselves.
The video gaming consoles.
Okay. Right? Or even just being a fan of the sport. For example, in his case, hockey, he just loves to watch it. But, it's a very, very different feeling when you're actually the one doing it.
Yeah.
And experiencing that. So to get off of the kind of devices and actually experience what is really, really out there. You cannot get that experience no matter how much you read or how much you play, or if you become the top gamer or whatever. And that's the philosophy from which our motto or slogan was born.
Right.
Which is nothing virtual, all reality.
Okay. And just to give you some more context, like I was saying off air, I just came back this morning, 1 o'clock Sunday morning, 1 o'clock a.m. from the airport, because I was attending the Web Summit, the Vancouver Web Summit. And talk of the town were obviously AI, which we've discussed in many past, episodes. But what's happening on the horizon, Sir John Ivey, the famous, designer of the iPhone, right? And of the MacBook and of the iMac and all of that, right? Longtime veteran, most famous for having a very substantial part in the very iconic iPhone design, in the iconic, iMac design. That Sir John Ivey has now partnered with Sam Altman. Sam Altman, famous for ChatGPT, right? It's on everyone's phones. We've talked about this in the past as well. Everyone's using it either for school or for work, blah, 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 blah. Why have they partnered up? They're going to be releasing a device. Okay. Strange times we're living in. They're going to be releasing a device that apparently is going to be like a disc. All right. It's going to sit on your desktop, on your kitchen counter. You're going to apparently put it in your pocket, or it's going to be a necklace. Talk of the town is people are not sure. Most likely it's going to be like a third device, because those two are adamant. It's not going to be a phone. It's not going to be a pair of glasses. So our world, like you're saying, Jahanzeb, it's going to become even more disconnected from the real world. All right. We're going to be apparently, if Sam Altman and, Sir John Ivy, if they have their way, we're going to be carrying another device, right? With all these devices, we are becoming so much more busy. Aren't these devices meant to make us less busy? We're even more busy. So, Jahanzeb bhai, how can we kind of reinsert ourselves back into the real world without sounding it like the Matrix? But what can we do to kind of get out there, get healthy, get fit, do exercise? I mean, that's the great thing with, having some kind of adventure, right? Tell us about Go Epic. Like, you do a full-on adventure thing where you're out there, you've gone to amazing places. You've shown me pictures, Peru, all these wonderful places. Tell us more about that, man. Tell us the experience. What do you do pre-trip, during the trip, post-trip? Why do people do it? Tell us all about that.
I've always been the guy who was rounding up my friends and saying, hey, let's go and do this or that. Everyone was happy chilling just locally, what everybody does.
You were the adventure seeker.
Whether playing ball or just chilling at home or playing games. I was like, I was driving to Ottawa and I saw this sign for Frontenac kayak. It looks cool. Let's just go check it out. And I was the guy who put that together. So I was always that kind of go-to guy, to the point where one of my friends said to me, Jahanzeb, your problem? You're too white, man. So I said to him, bro, you're too brown.
Yeah.
You need to get out and experience these things. So Canada is the second largest country in the world.
Yeah.
But 90% of the family trips, or the first place that comes to mind, Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls, yes. You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
Niagara Falls.
100%.
But if you go on my Instagram page, there's a photo of a place called Western Brook Gorge. Okay. The falls that we saw there, and we had to hike to the top of Grossmore Mountain to get there, it was taller than Niagara Falls.
Nice.
But most people haven't even heard of Grossmore National Park.
Nope.
Right? It's out in the middle of Newfoundland.
Okay.
Right? So with this mentality of just staying in our comfort zone, we miss out on everything else.
Right.
And the growth, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, it only takes place once you get out of that comfort zone. So what I do is I become your basically facilitator or helper or your partner to get you out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
And that grows you. It gives you experiences you didn't even know existed, number one. Once you found out they existed, I can't do this. This is not for me, right? I took a group of about a dozen guys. We got together from the masjid. They wanted to go somewhere like camping. I was like, can you organize it? I said, leave it with me. Let me change it up.
All right.
We've done camping. So I took a bunch of people who had never heard of a Class 5 rapid. I took a group of them whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting.
Whoa. And it's so close to home.
Okay.
Grand River is near London, Paris. They have a little bit of rafting, but that's just the basic stuff. The real rapids, and they're world famous in Canada, are on the Ottawa River.
Okay.
Not in Ottawa, but close to Ottawa, on the Ottawa River.
All right.
Up to Class 5 rapids. Sometimes there's this one rapid called the Dragon Tongue. At times of the year, it's so big that you can't navigate it.
Wow.
So I took a bunch of these guys there, and some of them were non-swimmers. So they said, no, we can't do this. But with the kind of group mentality that they kind of came along, and now we're on this raft.
Yeah.
And going through these rapids. The first one's not so big. We go through it, and the nervousness comes down a little bit. But then we get to the Dragon Tongue, and you kind of have to get off the raft prior to it. With every rapid, you have one guide and all you rafters now. But for the Dragon Tongue, they specifically had 2 guides per raft because of how big it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they had a rescue crew of about 5 people on the other side with a rescue dog who knows how to swim as well.
A dedicated rescue crew,
yes.
Just in case.
Just in case. So there's a whirlpool there you don't want to get into.
Okay.
So we pull off to the side now because you can't go on your own raft because your guide is going to go with the other raft and then come back to take your raft, 2 guys at a time, right?
Interesting. All right.
So a group of us are standing there at the top of Dragon Tongue, and they asked me, is this even halal? the sense of danger, the fear that is this a suicide mission?
Yeah.
But it's always about one thing I tell people is they say, everything you do is too extreme. I'm like, no, it's not extreme.
Yeah.
Like I'm not donning a wingman suit and flying through the Dolomites. Like we do stuff that looks difficult or challenging, but it's always with the right guides, fully trained, fully prepared, and with the mentality of safety first.
Right.
and challenged by choice. There's no pressure to do it. There's always a walk and exit.
Right.
So I took a group of these people and we went. And one of them, my friend Yasser, I keep telling people about his story. He was aquaphobic, didn't know how to swim, terrified of the water. But he came and he went through every rapid, didn't choose to walk around any of them. At the end of the day, when we're paddling back to our exit, there's an opportunity to kind of jump in the river and just swim with the current.
Okay.
He somersaulted off the raft and he was swimming in the water. And after that whole experience, he said to me, thank you so much for taking me on this trip.
Nice.
I got over my fear of water.
Nice.
And through this, I learned how to conquer challenges. And now I apply those same principles to every challenge I encounter in my life, personal,
Nice.
work, business.
Mashallah.
So getting out of that comfort zone,
Yeah.
now he developed a love and experience of something that he didn't even know existed or didn't know he could do. Because I can't, this is not for me. Okay, this is okay for you or white people, but not for us. No, but it is for everybody. So that's kind of the essence of the things we do. And that's what the growth takes place.
Great story. Look, it's all about personal growth, right? And a lot of times I do certain references to movies, right? And a good movie will always have an arc, a story arc, right? And what is that story arc all about? It's about a character going through something, some kind of difficulty, and then, the peak of it. And then obviously you need like at the height of it, a challenge. They overcome the challenge, and then hopefully happy ending, right? But that's the majority of what we see in the movies. So why not also do that in life? Why don't we develop ourselves? Why don't we overcome, some kind of fear, phobia, or just try something new, man? I'll tell you, way back, I think many years ago, probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, when I was on the board of Masjid Darul Iman. Many people know now I've focused completely to an Islamic school. So in terms of my volunteerism, but back then we all went to, I think it was a place called Christian Island. Interestingly enough, a bunch of Muslims going to Christian Island. So it was, I think, if I remember correctly, we were driving 9 hours north, I think near Sudbury or wherever like that. And obviously if you're driving that north up into wilderness country, there's no light pollution. So as a city kid, again, grew up in Mississauga, downtown Toronto was kind of like our treat in terms of going to the big city, or I guess bigger than Mississauga. But I've just been surrounded by light pollution all my life. I never even knew there was a term called light pollution up until that point, because I looked up at the stars when we were, in the evening at this place called Christian Island, just surrounded by trees, and we had a beautiful lake. And I looked up and I'm like, these are actual stars. I saw like the Milky Way, like the gaseous part of the Milky Way, not just a few stars that even a city boy would see at night, like the North Star. Oh, wow. Okay, awesome. Or the Big Dipper. I'm talking about like how you see those pictures from NASA, right? And the immediate thing that came to me was subhanallah. Like subhanallah. This is, and then how, now I'm going to connect the dots for you, Jahanzeb, but I want to take that, and I want you to take it a step further. How in the Quran, what's the repeated message? Ponder. Ponder, think, take time to think and reflect about Allah's creations, about what Allah has done, verses from the Quran. And so when you kind of develop yourself, when you are in awe of Allah's creation, when you look up at the night sky without all that light pollution, and like, wow, man, like we are just specks of dust, in the grand scheme of things. But yet at the same time, we live in a world, we do amazing things, or not, or we're having a difficulty. This is all part of the grand plan. So tell us a little bit more about your personal experiences. Maybe tell us more about their brother Yassers that you've met, or hopefully you've helped develop, or people that have kind of been part of this journey through Go Epic, wherever. You've told me about Peru, some other places, man, and how, these people have developed. I think that's a great storyline here, right? You want people to kind of come out of their comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I think in terms of development, what comes to mind first is when you're talking about the creation. And when you go to these different places beyond Niagara Falls and beyond
Yeah.
Turkey, Malaysia, Dubai, and
Yeah.
Saudi,
Yeah. All the
because there's
touristry.
more than 200 countries in the world, right?
Yeah.
80 this is the 80-20 principle. 80% of travelers go to 20% of the places,
Okay, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, but that makes
right?
so much sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You go to the tourist destination
Yeah.
hotspots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my destinations is a place called the Azores. It's in the middle of the Atlantic, 2 hours west of Portugal. A set of
Okay.
9 volcanic islands, direct flight from here.
No way.
I went
Volcanic
there.
islands.
Yes.
Okay.
I went there and I was literally the only person on that whole shoreline.
Wow.
Just me and my guide, my friend who was there with me. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Right. So you go, and I kind of, what I like to do is when I reach some of these places or climb a new peak or something, like what I like to do is my own thing. I like to give the azan there. Kind of give azan at a place. So I like to tell my travelers, let's come with me and give azan at a place where azan has never been called.
Wow. Beautiful story.
Right.
Beautiful
So
story.
in Newfoundland, we had a group. We went to Grossmore National Park.
Okay.
It's not near St. John. It's another flight out. And there's a place there called the Western Brook Gorge.
Okay.
I have a photo of that on the Instagram page as well. So that's one of my all-time favorite hikes.
Okay.
There's no hiking trail. To get there, you have to drive into the Grossmore National Park, get to the parking lot. Like we've all been in national parks. There are parking lots and signs off the highway. So pull off the highway, park your car. Now what? Now there's a walking trail, a gravel road, about an hour and a half walk. You get to a boat dock.
Okay.
Then you get on a speedboat.
Oh.
And then you've seen photos of Norway. We have those kind of fjords here.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
1,000-foot cliffs, waterfalls cascading down. So we're on this boat going between these fjords on both sides, this waterfalls coming down. And then you reach the end where it kind of is like a peninsula sort of, or a bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boat docks there and you get off at this small little dock in the middle of nowhere now.
Yeah.
You're this far out. It took you an hour and a half walk and another half an hour boat ride just to get to that start point.
Yeah.
And now we had our guide, and we're just following the guide, and he's just like sprinting with this massive 60-pound rescue backpack. And he's just going.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no trail, there's no sign. Like we've all been on hikes. Oh, let's go on a hike in Algonquin.
Yeah.
It's a fully marked trail, the loops, kilometers, signage, even outhouses, everything.
Okay.
But this is like pure wild. We had like flowers up to our chins.
Wow.
And then the guide said, oh, watch out, keep your eyes out. There's a moose that lives here. So just, if you see him, just stay back. Let me guide you.
Okay. Okay.
And so we're climbing through on hand and foot, crossing rivers by foot, like without a bridge.
Wow.
Crawling through a crawl space between two massive boulders. There's no other way. You have to crawl through this boulder to get to the other side.
Wow.
And then at the end, you have to be on all fours, like scrambling up. And finally, you get to this place at the top,
Mm-hmm.
which is it was a photo I saw, a promo photo of Newfoundland 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I just held on to that photo. I said, you know what? Someday I want to stand here.
Yeah.
And that day I went and I stood there and I said, no, I want to give azan over here.
Mashallah. Mashallah.
So now our guide, he's just in awe. He's like, what's this guy doing? And he's recording my azan, filming it for me. And he says, that was beautiful. And, I'd love to learn more.
Whoa.
And then we did our wudu and we prayed basically at the top of the mountain.
Wow.
And he was just awestruck. He's like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, they bring people whenever they bring people once a week or every few days or whatever. And
Sure.
people come, chill, eat, take photos, selfies, and then they leave. But he saw, so he's like, what is this?
Yeah.
He was intrigued.
Yeah.
This is a person who he doesn't know what he believes. He's lost. He's looking for his way.
Sure.
And then the entire way back, because it took us a few hours just to get there.
Yeah.
More or less the entire way back. Now he's like, yo, can I ask him? Like, you ask me anything you want.
Right.
It's an open book, and I'm here to tell you.
Yeah.
And first he was talking to some of the other people in the group. Oh, what is this? What are you guys? Oh, we're Muslim. We follow Islam. Oh, what's Islam about?
Mm.
And I think it's important as Muslims to learn how to present our faith.
Right. That aspect of Dawah.
Yeah. So if you don't know how to do that, then you kind of do what these guys did. So he was talking to them first. He was walking with them. I was a little bit further back.
Mm.
And so they were telling him, oh, well, we fast and we pray and we don't drink alcohol. We don't eat pork.
Oh, all the don'ts.
The rules.
Yeah.
But he didn't really understand, okay, there's a set of rules, but what's the big picture?
Yeah, exactly.
So when we got back to the dock, then I walked the rest of the way back with him, and then I just kind of shared what I could share with him about Allah and how He does everything and how He's connected, and it's a natural faith that connects to our soul. And he felt enlightened, and he said to me, I envy you because you have found your peace, and I'm still looking for mine.
What a story, man! It's sending shivers down my spine. Mashallah, mashallah.
So these kind of doors just open up because, especially when I travel to Latin America and South America,
Okay.
the majority of, although there's many Muslims who live there, but the majority of Latinos in Central and South America, they've never actually met a Muslim in person. They've only seen Muslims on TV.
Right.
So I went with a guide there, Diego, and he brought a driver along because what I like to do is, any place I go, I like to say, hey, where's the highest point here? And you see that cell tower? All right, fine. Bring a pickup truck and a few bikes, and let's go and bike down from there.
Yeah.
So they have to bring a driver to drop us off. So it was Diego, his driver, and myself were in the pickup.
Okay.
He goes, yo, can I ask you something? Like, yeah, I want to. What's Islam? What's Muslim? What are you guys about? Because the only thing I know about Islam is that you guys have 4 wives and you guys blow stuff up.
Oh no. Oh my God! Every other terrorist movie from the 1980s. Okay, yeah.
But obviously, they're talking to me like, "Yo, this guy seems chill. He seems alright. Doesn't seem like what we see on TV, right?"
Yeah.
And I told him, "Yo, look, one wife is enough of an issue. Why would you want more than one, anyways, right?" So he found that funny, and so they kind of realize, okay, this is what actually a Muslim is. This
in real life,
not what Fox News is telling me.
Yeah.
Right. That these are actually good people. I was in Peru.
Okay.
In a town called Pueblo, what's it called? Aguascalientes.
Okay.
Pueblo Machu Picchu. It's the town of Machu Picchu at the base of Machu Picchu.
Okay.
So I'd done Machu Picchu. I was waiting for my train, but I had to find somewhere to just say my salah.
Yeah. So Machu Picchu is, for those who don't know?
Machu Picchu is one of the wonders of the world.
Okay.
It's this fantastic mountain hidden in the mountains in the Sacred Valley in Peru.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a whole other story.
All right. So you're waiting.
So I'm waiting for my train back, but I have to do my salah before the train comes. So it's a small town with small streets, and so I'm looking, maybe there's a hotel lobby or a space on a street somewhere I can pray, but I couldn't find a spot.
Yeah.
So then I kept walking, and I found this AstroTurf outdoor soccer field.
Nice.
People are playing there. People are chilling, hanging out. So I just threw my prayer mat on the side.
Sure.
Saying my salah, and I see at the fence there's a man with a boy and a dog. They're just sitting and watching me. Right?
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah.
And then I get up and fold my mat and I start walking, and they get up and they come towards me and they go, "Amigo, ¿qué haces? Hey, what were you doing?"
Yeah.
So I explained to him, and in a little bit of Spanish that I know that, I prayed to my God, to my Allah. And
right.
I had to catch my train, but then I gave him my friend's number.
Yeah.
Louis, who's a Mexican convert.
Okay.
And he visited us here as well. I said, you connect to him,
yeah,
and he'll tell you everything you need to know, right?
Awesome.
And so they have this thirst, and when they meet a Muslim who's acting and demonstrating Islam,
yeah,
like, oh, why do you do this, or why don't you eat this, or oh, why aren't you drinking and partying?
Right.
So then we're ambassadors.
Definitely.
Right?
Love how you're connecting all of this
right
to the faith. Yeah.
When I was in Ecuador, my partner there, Jorge, he runs a pretty big, tourism business there, adventure business.
Okay.
He has his own ranch by the Cotopaxi volcano, which is active, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah, we go there.
Okay.
It hasn't spewed lava in a very long time, but it does spew a lot of smoke every now and then. You can see it from Quito. So the first 2-3 days, I was supposed to have a guide to explore certain areas, because before I run a tour anywhere, I go myself.
Okay.
I check everything out, and then I package only in my itineraries what I like and what I fine-tuned. So I thought, okay, he's going to meet me for the first day. Maybe we'll have dinner together. Then he'll put me with one of his guides, and I'll see him after 3 days for the next section, right?
Right.
So he goes, Jahanzeb, I'm coming with you because I want to spend this time with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I want to learn about Islam.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Okay.
Like, we'd never talked about really Islam much in our video calls prior to this, but he knew I was Muslim, obviously, and I talked to him about halal and educate them a little bit about what's halal and what we need as our groups.
Sure. What
their requirements are. So all my guys and my operators, they know what is halal. They know what is halal food. They know what we can and can't eat. They're like, yo, don't you have to stop for your prayers right now?
Wonderful.
Where do you want to stop? Tell me when you want to stop.
Yeah.
So our guys, we educate them so they know this.
Sure.
So Jorge decided, I want to spend the time with Jahanzeb to learn about Islam myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Ask me anything you want. There's no wrong questions,
Yeah.
nothing like ask anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy to tell you whatever you want.
Yeah.
So we spent 3 days together. Uh, he goes, and he saw me, doing my salah and so on.
Mm.
He goes, can I pray with you? I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. Tomorrow I'll pray with you.
Okay.
I said, okay.
All right.
So tomorrow was the third day. We were back in Quito.
Yeah.
We had a nice 5-course halal meal on a rooftop
Whoa.
in Quito. It was
Okay.
delicious. I'll share the photos with you and the
Okay.
menu maybe.
Okay.
But then we're done the meal and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pray. He's like, okay, I'm gonna pray with you. I'm like, okay. So he's like, oh, tell me what to do. So I said, I'll go do my ablutions first, my wudu.
Yeah.
So he came, he washed, and then he did wudu.
Amazing. All right. Yeah.
And then we stood on the rooftop, and he just stood next to me, and I just started my salah. And so I said, Allahu Akbar, and he's repeating after me now, whatever I'm saying.
Phenomenal.
And his, in his English with a Spanish accent.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Right?
Why
And he
not?
did the whole salah with me, and he hugged me at the end. He thanked me, he says, this was so amazing and peaceful.
MashaAllah.
And please send me more information. I want to learn about Muhammad and who he is. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right? I gifted him my travel prayer. So I said, you keep this, is for you.
Wow.
Right. And we have that bond now. Like we feel like brothers,
Yeah.
I know that might be a controversial thing to say, but like as a human brothers,
Absolutely.
like he says, mi casa es tu casa. Like my house is your house. We're
Definitely,
family,
man.
right?
Yeah.
And we have, those are the sort of bonds that we have. And by travel, you connect with people in that way.
Yeah.
And I think you leave them with a much more in-depth understanding and appreciation of Islam and Muslims than they've gotten through all the other channels.
Well, I mean, before we get to the questions, isn't it like, when you learn about Islam's history and you learn about the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba, what did the Sahaba do? The majority of them did not stay in Mecca or even Medina for that matter.
Mhm.
They went out into the world, right? They went out to Spain.
Mhm.
We know all the history of Granada and Seville. They went out to parts of Africa. They went out as far and wide to China.
Mhm.
So that's part of it, isn't it?
Mhm.
In our deen, in our faith, I guess travel is so interwoven that maybe we don't even see it that way,
Mhm.
right? Let's get to some Q&A. Producer Kashif, please.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. So before we get to the Q&A here, we'll share we've been sharing the contact information on the screen, but I also want to share some of the website details and
Absolutely.
so forth. So it's letsgoepic.com. It's the website for Go Epic Adventures. And so you can go there to find out all the information, upcoming, what's next, what trip is next, actually. I don't know if we discussed it, but
we're starting with Ecuador and Newfoundland in the summer, and then moving on to Baja California.
Baja California.
Oh, it's a place that people haven't heard of. That's the sort of places we like to discover and take you there. Yeah.
And Baja California is in Mexico.
It's in Mexico. Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
It's not in the U.S.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It's not in the U.S.
Yeah, we're flying over the U.S.
Okay.
As long as your plane doesn't have an emergency, you will not land in the U.S.
Mexico. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And Ecuador.
And Ecuador, inshallah. Yes.
Whoa. So let's go epic.com and everyone can go there, inshallah, to learn more about those trips. And there's contact information and phone numbers there. I'm also displaying the Instagram on the screen here, which is Go Epic Adventures. So inshallah, you can connect there too. So let's go. Okay, let's just pick a few of these photos at random.
Yeah.
So
let's do that.
What is this?
Those are llamas in Ecuador or Peru. Yes.
Yeah, Peru. It seems like. So mashallah, look at that scenery in the background there. What's another good one here? So a lot of kayaking, I guess, too. Let me know anyone specifically here you want to talk about.
The Pelicans.
The Pelicans. Here we
yeah.
go.
So that's in Baja California in the Sea of Cortez.
Okay.
Jacques Cousteau called it the aquarium of the world. Fantastic place to go.
World famous.
Yes.
Explorer.
Yes.
Ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau.
Yes.
Okay. For those who don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, and let's do one more here. Let's see. What do we got?
The seal.
The seal. Okay.
So that's off the coast of Lima in a place close to Callao. This is Lima, Peru.
Lima,
Peru.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's an island there called I'm forgetting the name now, and that's a place where Islas Palominos. Palomino Islands.
Okay.
So it's a seal residence, like seals, a sanctuary, and
Uh,
all these seals just
A
chill and live
seal
there.
sanctuary.
Yeah, it's a protected area,
Whoa.
and all these seals live there. And this photo, I
So
took it
cool.
from the water, about 50 feet from the island,
Yeah.
while in the water. This is without zoom. Like, this is as close as you and I are.
No way.
Yeah.
That is
So
awesome.
if you're
Awesome.
bold enough, you can jump in the water and swim with those baby seals.
Oh my goodness. That is beyond awesome. Man.
Yeah, I was going to ask, who's taking all these photos, mashallah? You're a photographer also?
And I have to take a few when I go just to share it with people. So yeah,
So
I
good.
try.
That's so good.
Mashallah. So yeah, so check out the Instagram and the website. So it's all on the screen there. So inshallah, we have a lot of comments and questions coming in. I'm looking at the Instagram stream actually, and there was a question that came in that we'll start with.
Yeah, let's get to them.
They were asking, what would you recommend? And they had starter in quotes. So what would you recommend as a starter adventure for maybe someone that's never done stuff like this before?
Excellent question. Right? People
Mhm.
think I can't do this. This is not for me.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, we help people get
Okay.
out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
So if you've never been rafting, or you've never been kayaking, or you've never jumped off a waterfall or rappelled down, whatever, we'll
Haven't.
hold your hand.
Okay.
We'll assume you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And we'll teach you everything and help you, just like a baby learns to walk.
Yeah.
Try this. And there's no pressure. Like I said, it's challenge by choice.
Okay.
So if at any point you feel like I can't do this, hey, no shame, no pressure. Like, we have a bike ride in the Sacred Valley in Peru.
Okay.
We started an elevation of about 13,000 feet.
All right.
It's a countryside downhill ride all day. We went into the valley at
Okay.
about 6,000 feet.
Okay.
So let's go biking, right? But if you feel like, you know what, this section is a little bit high, I don't know if I can, no problem. Guess what? Stop the bike, get off, look behind you. There's a support van. Get back in the van. Jose is going to put your bike back on the roof, and you just follow us.
All right.
You're good. So what's a starter trip? Any of our trips can be a starter trip, because we don't do extreme stuff. We're not climbing Everest. We're not into extreme. 90% of what we do, 90% of the stuff that's on our itineraries, a person of average fitness and average physical ability can do it, as long as they're bold and confident enough to try and hold our hand and try it.
Try it. That's
Try
the
it, right?
main
Yeah.
thing, right? You
Yeah.
at least gotta try.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no adventure which you can do. We don't do intense multi-day hikes. A lot of these adventure companies, they sell you adventure, but it's just a bunch of hikes and some market visits and a lot of free time. That's kind of why I
Okay.
started this. That
Oh,
I want a real adventure. I don't want to just hike and go to the market. Give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. And no one was doing it.
okay, good to know. See, good to know.
Right?
All right.
So that's any of those are starters, because we make it so that 90% of what we have
Hmm.
is something that anyone can do. And if you're on the biking day, for example, day 4 is the Sacred Valley biking day, and you say to me, you know what, I can't get on 2 wheels, and your wife is like shaming you, so we'll take the wife and we'll give you what we call, always have what we call choose your own adventure.
Okay.
So if you don't want to go biking that day,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because your wife is the stronger one in the family, then you can go on the canoe ride into the jungle
Very
and
cool.
just follow, interact and see some wildlife.
Very cool.
We'll meet up at the end of the day. So to a long answer to a simple question, but any of our trips are basically starter friendly. Don't have an extreme side of our trips right now.
Good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know. Good to know. More questions, please.
Jazakallah
Producer
khair.
Kashif.
So yeah, let's go through these. We had some comments. So mashallah. We talked about it a little, but this one is asking, how do locals in these type of areas respond to Muslims? Right now in current climate, Muslims are scared to travel to many places.
Hmm.
So how have you found experience with locals? So we talked about it a little, but you can expand on it. I think there was a second question related also. Oh, here we go. So many people are afraid to venture to places that are not predominantly Muslim due to Islamophobia and racism. What would you tell people who feel that their safety may be at risk? So 2 people asking the same type of question.
Mhm.
And inshallah, if you
All
want
right.
to expand
Yeah,
on
please
it.
do tell. Do tell.
So there is people fear the unknown,
Mhm.
right? It's a natural thing. We fear the unknown.
Right.
And I taught myself and I teach my son that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I had a fear of deep water, but I still got scuba certified.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, great, this is done. And then I was excited to swim in the ocean, because there's 2 types of diving. There's freshwater and saltwater diving.
Okay.
Freshwater is mostly in the northern hemisphere, and it's mostly shipwrecks because they get preserved more in the freshwater.
Oh, all
There's
right.
very little marine life. There's comparatively.
Got it.
And saltwater is where you see all the beautiful corals, all the fish, all the colorful stuff. So I was all about that.
Yeah.
I'm not so much into the freshwater.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's go freshwater diving. I went to the Maldives. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dive here. But then, like, yo, wait a minute, there's sharks in this water.
Oh.
So now this second fear, I conquered the fear of depths, but now this fear of sharks is holding me back. So
Yeah.
then knowledge, learn, study, learn all about sharks, and I figure out, okay, there's only 4 types of sharks that really are dangerous. Most of the others, they don't want nothing to do with you, and even the dangerous ones, they for the most part will not, they'll avoid you,
Yeah.
barring great white sharks and so on. But
Yeah.
so I realized, okay, there's only black tip reef sharks in the Indian Ocean here, so it's good. And you go, so you dive. So people fear the unknown, and yeah, there is that element of risk. And if we're shy to interact, and we don't approach, then people will not approach us either. So there's this unknown, and there is that kind of fear and stigma of what's going to happen, what are these people going to say. But as soon as you start talking, as soon as you connect with them, that gets mitigated greatly.
Yeah.
But obviously, as an independent traveler, or whether as a family or a solo, male or female, especially traveling, there is that fear. And a lot of these places, that fear is there about how will people perceive me.
Yeah.
So we basically take that risk and fear away by going in our groups.
Yeah.
Right?
And you also go ahead of time. Like you were saying earlier, you go ahead of time. You literally scope out the location and the entire adventure.
Yeah.
And you'll go with your guide. Many times you'll go with the driver. So you'll do everything ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So everything that we do is fully checked out and ready. And they don't fear us. They actually respect, and they have they're very inquisitive about it. And I don't mean to sound racist, but I'll try and say this as nicely as I can.
Okay.
Latin American people, they're very, very warm and welcoming for the most part.
Okay.
So they're just chill people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I find, and I found, I studied in Europe, that Europeans, especially Western Europeans, are a lot more
xenophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Afraid of the unknown.
Yeah. So you might think, oh, France is very developed, or Germany is very developed, or whatever, right? I would feel in certain places where you go there, you'd probably have more pushback than you would in Mexico and Costa Rica and Ecuador.
Right.
So, that there's the different demographics and different mindsets. So it really depends on the place. Having said that, the Azores is part of Europe. Phenomenal, very, very friendly, open people.
All right.
And there again, they admire, oh, what's this guy doing? Why is he doing this? Why is he not doing this? Why are they like this? They're more curious than anything else.
Yeah.
I've never felt unsafe.
Okay.
And if you do, then you just go up and talk to people, have a conversation, and all of a sudden it dissipates.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right?
And again, you're going to be with the group.
You're with the
right?
group.
It's not that, hey group, all right, I'm going to go back to the hotel and chill, and you guys, have your friendly way with the, and just go on.
You're in a group and, with us all the way.
Okay. Good to know. More questions, please, producer Kasha.
Jazakallah khair. So some comments here. Such a beautiful idea to do adhan in these remote places.
Yeah.
Great topic, mashallah, tabarakallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you.
Ameen.
There's a second question. Another question here.
Oh, great question.
Seems like a good for father-son bonding. Have you had family members experience adventures together?
Yes.
Maybe
times.
I'll expand on that question a little bit. So like me and Jahanzeb have like kids the same age and stuff. So what, like if you're a parent with young kids, sort of what would you recommend? How do they work themselves up? What are some good things to start with and so forth?
Do stuff with them. This is a time. Once they hit their teens, they're not going to want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
Make that bond.
I agree
now.
100%.
How do you start with them? You go walking, take them on their bike. Or you go on the bike, let them run behind you. Or with Sufyan, I took him camping.
Son?
Yes, my son, he's 9 now. I took him camping when he was a year and a half. I had to make sure he doesn't roll out of his sleeping bag at night. But I took him camping, and then I put him in my kayak in my lap, literally, on the Rouge River when he was maybe 4.
Okay.
So he's pointing out the swans and all the wildlife and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I took him whitewater rafting in Upper New York State when he was 7 years old.
Whoa.
He's 7 years old. He's on a raft. He's not a strong swimmer.
Yeah.
And again, the fear of the unknown. Oh, this is scary. And so I have to chat with him, pep talk. Look, I've told you what's going to happen, right? Here's what's going to happen. Oh, but what if I fall in the water? Look, what's going to happen if you fall in the water? It's like, you have a life jacket, right? Says, yes. You have a life jacket, you have a helmet. You're just going to float. So just chill and I'm going to grab you. Yeah. Like, okay, daddy, that's cool. So we did the first rapid, and he's like, "Okay, that was fun, right?
Yeah.
What class of rapid was that?
Yeah.
That was a class 2. He's like, "Okay, I want to do class 3 now." Right.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that bonding takes place with those experiences. When we've gone whitewater rafting on the Ottawa River, we've had many father and son experiences. My friend Riaz, actually met him last night at the masjid. He brought his son Omar.
Yeah.
And he had a heart-pounding moment when the raft flipped and he couldn't see Omar for a few seconds.
Yeah.
But then, obviously he was rescued, and he was never in danger. But that fear of where's my son in this rapid, right?
Yeah.
But they go rafting together, and they camp together, and they have the meal together. They go for a swim in the lake at the end of the day together.
Yeah.
Mother, daughter, or sisters. Like we've had females on the trips as well. So there's a lot of that bonding takes place within families, within friends, within father, son, mother, daughter. When you do these shared challenges, and you get away from your devices, from your, like, one of the things I love about adventure.
Yes.
When I'm skiing, I can't check my messages.
There you go.
I'm one of the minority who still has an analog watch.
Yeah.
It gives me what I need. It tells me my elevation. It has a compass. I got the temperature on this. But
Sorry.
I don't need my WhatsApp on this.
Yeah.
I don't need my messages. I don't need my emails
Fair.
when I'm climbing Machu Picchu or Grossmore Mountain.
Yeah.
Right. So when I'm skiing, I'm not on my device. When I'm scuba diving, I can't check my messages.
Yeah.
They'll have the technology soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't want it.
Yeah.
So when you're out on a raft or you're out here, there's no signal here. Oh, where's the Wi-Fi? No, we don't have Wi-Fi. We're out in the wild. Sorry.
Yeah.
So now without Wi-Fi, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Looking at the stars, looking at the Milky Way, talking, bonding.
Yeah.
So you really get out of this connected zone, get out of all this virtual reality and go to where there's nothing virtual.
Yeah, definitely. Love it.
And
Mr.
then,
Kashif, another question.
husband and wives, have you had husband? I'd be scared to go with my wife, man. She's gonna throw me off the raft. But
we do
great question.
facilitate those kind of requests where she says, "Can you make?" Yeah, we'll throw them off the raft. Don't worry. It gives us good reviews and good tips.
But you've done couples.
Yeah, we've had families,
adventures,
full families,
family adventures,
full families, father, mother,
Excellent.
3 daughters,
Okay.
ages 7 to 12.
Good to know.
Right?
Good to know.
And they love it. Like,
So, what's the website again?
Let's Go Epic.
Let'sGoEpic.com.
.com.
One more time.
Let's Go Epic.com.
Okay. So now you've heard the website.
yeah, we've been displaying it on the screen also.
Perfect, Mr. Kashif. Is there? So, do they contact you? Is there a special request form? Hey, this is Brother Mushtaq. I want to take Fawzia. I want to take Shahir, Alicia, and Eliza. We just want to do it as a family thing. And I also, my brother-in-law is also interested. My sister-in-law is also interested. So 3 families. We want to go. Hey, here's our budget. We loved your idea about Machu Picchu. So how do we start that process? Do we contact you? Do we call you? Is there like a form, contact us form on your website?
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through that process then.
Okay, so we're small enough to be flexible
Mhm.
and customize and meet your needs.
Okay.
I personally answer all the calls and all the emails.
Phone
So
and email.
If you
Okay.
call or if you email us, you're getting through to me.
Perfect.
So 2 ways it works. One, we have our fixed departures, what we call.
Mhm.
So we'll have our Ecuador departure in August on this date. I think it's the 21st of August. I'll
Mhm.
put it up on the website.
Mhm.
And then Newfoundland on this date.
Yeah.
And Baja and Peru on these dates. So you'll go on our website. You'll see, hey, this is what's coming up this year.
Like a fixed schedule.
yeah.
Of upcoming.
Yeah. But you
Adventures.
say, you think to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I want to go to Ecuador, but we want to go in October. But
Yeah.
I don't see an October date here.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
when you pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, can you do this for us at this time? And
Yeah.
then I'll work with you to make a customized
Awesome.
plan
Because
for you.
maybe mom and dad, they both work. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
time that they both were able to get time off from the office or
Exactly.
from whichever work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you have basically 6 to 8 people, we can do a fully custom private trip for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another question. Have you been able to do sisters only events?
We haven't done them, but we can easily do it.
You can.
Easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, look for any sisters, then you'll see why I'm mentioning this. Okay. GoEpic.com. If you're a sister, sorry, thank you, Producer Kashif. Let's GoEpic.com. Speak to Jahanzeb Pai. He'll do a sisters only event. I'll connect the dots here. We're all, I think, familiar with Husna Travels, right? Husna Vacations. I mean, they started off with the whole, hey, we're a Muslim family, go to Jamaica, go to, the Caribbean, you have your own beach, it's all just Muslim families, all Muslim food. That was a massive thing. It still is, don't get me wrong. But for for your company?
Mhm.
Why am I so bullish on it? Why am I such a huge proponent? Look, when we're talking up, and I don't want anyone to think, oh, Brother Mushtaq, you're just all you do talk about is AI and technology. Look, but at least if you know what's happening, then it's my responsibility to pass it on to a greater audience. You have some very large self-serving companies that are focused only on profit. That's the day and age we live in, and it's always been the case. If you don't think otherwise, you're fooling yourself. So understand that the major companies like Meta, Facebook, as it's more widely known, they're now working on AI agents, okay? Personalized AI chatbots. Mark Zuckerberg has gone on record where he said, I want these AI agents to be now everyone's personalized artificial AI friend. So what is that going to do? Okay, and I get very passionate about it. You're going to become, like we were saying earlier, you're going to become more isolated. You're going to become more dependent on an artificial construct, an artificial chatbot that will be your friend. You're going to become more isolated, more lonely, and more disconnected with the real world, right? And again, it's all very self-serving. Facebook and Meta want you to use their apps. They want you to stay on the apps. WhatsApp, we all use WhatsApp, good or bad, we all use it. It already has a chatbot in it, right? It has a AI, Meta AI already embedded in it. Look, I'm in the AI space, but I say do AI for good, actual meaning and purpose and benefit, not to disconnect people. Okay, not to disconnect people, because what is that going to do? You're going to go down a dangerous rabbit hole where you're going to become isolated, and it's going to lead to depression. We've already talked this up on numerous past podcasts, right? Go outside, connect with nature. Like you were saying, connect with people. It's awesome, man, that, you reading Salah on an AstroTurf piece of, in a soccer field. Father and son come up to you and be like, wow, man. Like, that's so amazing for people to come up to you in these different places and be like, what just happened here? I saw something that's giving me some kind of inner peace. Isn't that something we all like aspire to in our day-to-day lives? Like, people genuinely want to feel connected with the world, connected in the sense they want to feel a connection with people. If you're connected to your device all the time, you're not really connecting to people. You're losing the benefit of being around real people. Exactly. And that's why I'm so hard on this subject. Because when we talk up mental health, when we talk up a strong family, these cell phone devices, they are meant to be a tool for productivity. It was always that intention. Sometimes intentions can go wrong, man, and sometimes we're a victim of our own, doing. Because we're like, yeah, man, I gotta be on the phone. I gotta be on the phone. I gotta be on the phone. But to your point, hey, man, you have that watch, that analog watch, right? All you need is the time. So we're getting close to the top of the hour. Producer Kashif, do we have any more questions that have come in?
Yeah, we have a few more.
Let's do it.
We can go through them. So a few comments. So they came in during different points of the podcast. So I'm not sure. I love how you connect adventures to faith. MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Yes.
Shout out to my sister. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. MashaAllah, we should never underestimate that every moment anywhere is a dawah opportunity.
There you go.
So
well said.
Well said. That advice. Such a wonderful form of dawah, MashaAllah. So then there was a question. You mentioned, you had a full halal meal set up while you were discussing, but this person is asking, how do you find halal food in these areas? Like, how did that full course halal meal end up there?
Yeah, that 5-course meal, bro. Come on, tell us about that.
That is a huge challenge, especially in Latin America.
Okay.
So, and I'm careful. I try to be as careful as I can about what I eat. By default, in those places, we have the seafood and halal and vegetarian options.
Yes.
But now, how did I get that halal steak in Ecuador? So I did some research beforehand, and then when I went there, so I had some leads before I went, and then when I did go there, I went to the local masjid there, in Quito, connected to the community there. Where do you guys get your meat? Oh, we get it from here. So now I get to Mercado Arabico and go there. And okay, yeah, we have all this hand slaughtered meat. So we basically, for our trip, we bought what we needed from there and took it.
Nice.
In Baja, I have a supplier in Mexico City who ships the frozen halal hand-cut meat to where we want in time for our trips.
Oh
for
my
our group,
goodness, that is
right?
awesome. Okay.
But if you just go to a place, you go to Quito or you go to Lima or you go to Mexico and say, oh, I want check-in, please give me halal food. They have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And again, you might use Google Translate. It doesn't work. I was in, and they don't appreciate it either. So I don't want to promote lying, but when you do travel, even if it's without us, and you go to these places, if you want to be really safe, don't tell them, oh, I don't eat meat because of religious reasons. They won't care as much. Tell them I'm allergic to meat.
Okay.
Now they're very careful. Because they don't want something to happen.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Right?
That's good advice.
Technically, we are allergic to haram because it's bad for us, right? So,
yeah.
I'm just
good
saying.
Advice. It's
right?
practical advice.
Practical advice, right?
Practical
so
advice.
now I'm after our Machu Picchu hike, we're having lunch at this kind of buffet restaurant where our guides have brought us in. They know, there's vegetarian options here. Okay, fine. So there's this dish that looked like kind of beans and sauce. So I asked the waiter, ¿tienes carne? Does it have any meat?
Yes.
No, amigo, no tiene carne. Oh, perfect. Took some in my plate. I go back to my seat. I pick up a spoon and I see some pink stuff in it.
Oh my, okay. And
so I go back to him like, yo, I thought you said there's no meat in here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yo, that's not. No, it's the carne. It's the jamon. That's ham. That's not meat. Like, we don't differentiate between beef and ham, but they have different words.
Whoa.
Now, as a tourist, as a traveler, you don't live there.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that, right?
Yeah.
Or in Mexico and Costa Rica, you go for some halal tacos. You go for seafood tacos.
Yeah.
Or veggie tacos. Like, okay, is this veggie? Like, yes, veggie. Is vegetarian comida? Okay, fine. Then you find out, oh wait, almost everywhere in Mexico, they put lard. It's called manteca. They put that inside the flour to make the tortillas.
No way. Okay.
So now you're eating. You're saying, oh, I had a good time. I had seafood tacos. Are you sure you had seafood tacos, Mushtaq? Or was there something else in it?
Yeah.
So we do kind of all that groundwork where we can make sure we can get that halal meat. One of my friends is Imam Musa. He's in Quito. He's opened up a restaurant now. So I trust him. He used to be the imam in Mexico City as well. I met him there. And so I connect with him and say, okay, he said, whenever you need, halal food, I got you.
Okay.
So you can't just kind of Google it or just order it or ask the hotel. You really, in places like Latin America, you have to really go out of your way to make it happen. In the Azores, I don't have halal meat right now. They supply meat to all of Europe. But to get the halal meat back from mainland to Azores is a challenge that we're trying to conquer right now.
All right.
So in those places, we just make sure there's no contamination.
Yeah.
And it's seafood and vegetarian.
Yeah.
But it's a huge challenge in some of these places to get the halal food.
But you still look after it at the end of the day.
Of course.
And you make sure that, your guests.
You don't have to worry about or ask any questions. You can ask any questions you want.
Yeah.
But you can eat the meals we provide you.
And that's the beauty of an entire package, right?
Exactly.
Again, it's a package.
Exactly.
You're getting the full experience.
You're getting the logistics. You're getting picked up at the airport. In Lima, the airport's is out of Lima, just like Toronto airport is in Mississauga.
Yeah.
In Lima, the airport is in Callao. When I took a taxi to Callao just to explore something, the taxi driver's like, you want to go to Callao? I was like, yeah. Like, I can't take it. I'm like, yo, just take me, drive. He's like, no, it's not safe. So the airport is in Callao. So the surrounding area is not a safe area.
Okay.
So now, if you go to Lima on your own, are you going to take a taxi? You can take a coach. How are you going to get into Lima? Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
With us, you don't have to worry. You come out there. There's a sign saying, "Go Epic, Mushtaq, bienvenidos a Peru." Welcome to Peru.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Awesome.
You don't worry. From the time you land, you just worry about immigration. After that, you just relax.
And the visas, you tell people ahead of time. Okay, this is what you need to do for the visa, or it's an e-visa.
Most places is
electronic visa
on arrival.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But we'll tell you all that.
Awesome. Good to know.
So there's on the Instagram stream, there was a few more questions. So one was, have you ever had anyone go on an adventure trip and then decide that, hey, this wasn't for me, I'm never doing this again?
A fair question. Question. Yeah.
I can't recall anyone like that.
All right.
Yeah. Most people have a good time.
Yeah.
There were some people, so we had to modify something. We used to run up until last year. I pioneered a route on the Credit River in Mississauga.
Okay.
Best adventure in Toronto you can do. We can still do it, but we have to go rent some kayaks together. So
The
call
Credit
me.
River.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Who would have thunk?
Yes.
All right. All right.
So we used to take
Close to home.
close to home, run kayak trips on the Credit River one way.
Okay.
We'd kind of ship the kayaks back at the end and whatnot. And so it's challenging. There's rapids in there. There's rocks in there. We go over a dam. So we used to take anyone who wants to come. We take them on that trip.
Yeah.
But after a couple of our trips turned into from 3-hour trips or 5-hour trips, they turned into 8 or 10-hour trips because
Yeah.
we had to keep rescuing someone
Oh.
because they were aquaphobic or they were just terrified of the water or couldn't maneuver. And so one or two of those people, they overcommitted to something they weren't mentally prepared for.
Mm.
And they said, no, we can come, we're good. But once we're on the river, they're like, we realize, and they realize they're not good and they can't do this. And now we can't exit.
Okay.
Once you're on that river, now you got to finish the route. Like there's no place you can just decide, you know what, I'm getting off here. Well, getting off, go where?
Got it.
So we had one or two people like that who came on that. And so then we started qualifying that, okay, if you've never been kayaking, you're going to come with us to Rouge River first. Where
Oh.
it's flat, it's easy.
Got it.
We have an easy out.
Like a beginner.
A
A beginner
Yeah.
epic adventure.
Yeah. So we asked that question now on the Credit River. We used to ask, okay, are you afraid of the water? Are you nervous?
Right.
If they did, then we'd call them and say, you know what? We can't take you on this one right now.
Yeah.
We'll take you on the beginner one first.
Got
and
it.
Once we assess you there, then we'll bring you here.
So you pre-qualify people.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
so other
good.
than those one or two experiences, I can't think of anybody else who went on an adventure
Okay.
and said, yeah, we didn't like it.
All right. All right. Producer Kashif, any other questions?
Yeah, we're approaching the top of the hour,
Uh-huh.
so I'll end with just asking one from myself. So inshallah, we'll make dua that Allah makes this come true. And but Jahanzeb bhai, what is your dream travel adventure?
Oh,
if you
great
don't mind
question. The
sharing?
bucket list. I was
Oh.
about to ask myself, what is the bucket list epic adventure?
The bucket list epic adventure has been on my list for a while. Is to backpack from the west to east of Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yes.
Whoa.
So, it's a
Okay.
short answer. So when I go, I'll take 2 or 3 people with me. So
Inshallah.
shoot me an email. If we have a nice conversation over a coffee, then then let's go together.
All right. When can
Yeah.
we have that coffee? Indonesia. Awesome. Great
Yeah.
answer. Great answer. Okay.
Kashiba, you want to share in that competition we're doing for the audience?
Oh yes, absolutely. Let's go for it. So I'll bring up. I think you said it was on the Instagram,
What,
right?
we're doing a competition. Okay.
Giving something away. Motivate you.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay. This is wonderful.
So
I think this is the first time we're giving something away.
I think
Okay,
that's what he
this is
said too.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's go here.
Gosh, if it took
So-
us time, huh? It took us like after 117 episodes. Now we're just
Yeah.
giving away stuff. All right. Good.
So inshallah, I'll let you talk to it. So what do people need to do? And
Okay, very simple. We're giving away a $250 travel voucher that you can use on any of our trips.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to do a prize draw. How do you enter? You email right now, send an email to founder@letsgoepic.com. I see it at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Send an email and just say, I want to go on an adventure.
Send an email to founder@letsgoepic.com.
Yeah.
Step 1.
Step 1,
Okay.
right? That'll get you 2 entries today. One for sending the email and one because you're doing it while you're on the show.
For the contest. Okay.
Yeah. So if you watch it during the week, you'll still get 1 entry for that.
Okay.
So send an email, just say, I want to go on an adventure and put your name and number in there. Do that. We'll
Okay.
get you an entry. And then on the post that Kashif just put up on the Instagram, tag it with 5 friends. For every 5 friends you tag, we'll give you another entry. Inshallah, we'll do the draw on Eid.
And the Instagram handle is
Go Epic Adventures.
okay. Go Epic Adventures.
Yes.
Tag 5 of your friends
Yeah.
from Instagram.
On the post with the volcano. That's on near the Cotopaxi volcano in Ecuador, by the way. So if you come with us, you will have an opportunity to sit right there on a different horse.
So you got to find Jahanzeb, right?
Yes.
Brother Jahanzeb,
Yes,
as you've said.
Yeah.
You got to find him in the poncho
Yes.
on a horse.
Yes.
Find that post.
It's
Tag
the
5
latest
of
one.
your friends.
Yeah.
All right. Latest one. Okay.
Yeah, it's
And
the
then step 3.
That's it.
That's it.
Then, yeah.
2 easy steps.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And we'll put you in our draw. Inshallah, we'll do the draw on Eid.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, Jahanzeb bhai, this has been an awesome episode. May Allah give you barakat in your business. May He keep that sense of adventure alive and well in you.
I mean,
And I love the story. That you are, as we say in past episodes, you're an example of living Islam. You're
We
an
try.
example of living Islam,
Yeah,
right?
we try our best. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I think it's important, business and all that aside, as Muslims, we are ambassadors.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
Put all the business aside, put everything aside.
Mhm.
We're ambassadors.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and when you make that niyat, when you make that intention, that is when things happen.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere, pick a country anywhere, right? You go, oh yeah, we're going on a trip. You're going in that fun mindset or traveler mindset or vacation mindset. You'll have your trip and you'll come back, but the niyyah changes everything.
Yeah.
And when you make the niyyah, accordingly, Allah will open up different ways for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So when I was preparing to go to Peru for the first time, obviously it's always busy leading up to a trip. I'm just, kind of last one to board the flight, whatever. Just take a deep breath, right? But then when I finally was halfway into the flight, I paused. I said, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I'm thinking business and travel and whatnot and Machu Picchu. I'm going to go see that. But hold on a second, right? And I thought to myself that our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he never came here.
Yeah.
He never came to South America.
Right.
And I am his deputy and his ambassador and his representative.
Yes.
So I
You're
must go with
carrying
this mindset.
his legacy.
I'm doing that. This
Yeah.
is my responsibility. So I changed my kind of niyyah mid-flight. That
Nice.
business is secondary. Now I'm going to go with this intention that I'm an ambassador of Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so the first Peruvian that I met, his name was Khalid. He was the immigration officer.
And his name was Khalid.
His name was Khalid.
Whoa.
Right? There's been generations where Muslims came and then their kids left Islam. I don't think he was still Muslim, but his name was Khalid. And then my driver from the airport to the hotel.
Yeah.
I spoke with him the whole way about Islam, and I gave him a Spanish Quran PDF on WhatsApp.
Whoa.
Before I got out of the cab.
That
right?
is awesome. Okay.
So we make as Muslims, we have to remember that we are the ambassadors, not what they see on TV.
Yeah.
So wherever you go with that mindset of I need to connect to the people and let them see what a Muslim is and what Islam is. It's not all that bad stuff that you're seeing and
Awesome.
hearing about.
Awesome.
So
I love it.
Keep that and take that home. Be ambassadors.
Awesome. Love it. Well, this is Brother Mushtaq wrapping up the latest episode of the Happy Strong Family weekly live stream. And I'll say one last time for what it's worth, at least for this episode. Look, we are entering a time with AI. I'll say time and time and time again. AI needs to be used for good. The big tech bros, the tech monopoly, the Facebooks and the Metas of the world, they want you to kind of just go down this rabbit hole of AI, personalized agents and chatbots. Please, please, please do not disconnect yourself from the real world. Do not disconnect yourself from the real world. Go to Jahanzeb Bhai's website, go Epic Adventures, Google it, find it, hit up his Instagram. As a family, as a group of brothers, as a group of sisters, he'll accommodate everyone. Go out and have your own epic adventure, connect with Allah, connect with his, wonders around the world that you probably just maybe have only seen on TV or somebody else's, social media post. Experience these things in real life. Connect with nature, connect with your Lord, connect with your creator, connect with your family, connect with your sisters, connect with your brothers. That's it. I'm out. Bye for now. Brother Mushtaq signing off.